With Babata's words, Luo Feng naturally wanted to go. That night, Luo Feng informed his family. Year 2061, December 3rd, morning. The family ate breakfast. Su Xen went to the garage to drive to the company. Luo Feng called out, "Dad, Mom, I won't be back for lunch, I'll be back for dinner." Ping ping, little Hai, you have to listen to your grandparents at home. Doting on his two sons, Luo Feng walked out of the house. His body became a blur in the courtyard, instantly vanishing. High up in the sky. Luo Feng rushed into the sky, swiftly passing through the cloud layer, continuously flying higher. The sunlight above the cloud layer was even more glaring. In one breath, he flew to about 8,000 m above sea level, floating in mid-air. Babata, bring the Black Dragon ship out, right? Activate the stealth mode, don't let the satellite discover us. Luo Feng's thought said. Relax, the Black Dragon Mountain Empire's top-class ship. If it was discovered by Earth, that would be a huge joke. Babata said. At the same time, in mid-air beside Luo Feng, a huge black disc-shaped ship with a diameter of about 100 m appeared. On the body of the ship was a huge winged dragon. Luo Feng took a deep breath. A diameter of 100 m, it didn't sound big. However, it was still shocking in terms of size. It was much bigger than a high school soccer field. The outer cabin door automatically opened. Luo Feng flew into the laser tunnel. The inner door opened too. Black Dragon ship's control room. Luo Feng, Demon Babata is at your service. A clear, proud voice resounded throughout the entire control room. On the screen of the control board, Babata's head appeared. Luo Feng smiled. Let's go. All right. Babata chuckled. A very soft sound. Even a warrior like Luo Feng could barely feel a very weak vibration within the ship. This was much more comfortable than a normal car. Do we need to activate the exterior simulation? Babata asked. Simulation level of 10% to 100% is fine. Exterior simulation? Luo Feng was stunned. As the ship's metal body is thick, we can't see outside with our naked eyes, hence we have to go through the exterior simulation. It's similar to Earth's 3D projection, however, the effects are much stronger. Babata explained. Activate 100%. Luo Feng said directly. Shwa. The control panel, chairs, and floor of the control room had all disappeared. He was surrounded by a hazy layer of air. The Black Dragon spaceship is flying through the atmosphere and will soon leave Earth. They've already left. Babata's voice resounded around. Luo Feng could see the distant boundless space, vast and boundless space. Luo Feng turned to look behind him. A huge azure planet appeared in his field of vision. Earth? Luo Feng couldn't help but hold his breath. Too beautiful. Although it was common to see such images on the internet and on television, when he actually boarded the spacecraft and saw it with his own eyes, the shock he felt was so deep that it touched his soul. The blue planet was constantly shrinking. The distance between the Black Dragon spaceship and the azure planet grew further and further. Earth Sunday. Luo Feng's gaze looked behind Earth. In the distance there was a planet that seemed to be burning in flames, the sun. The spacecraft has accelerated to 100,000 kilometers per second. It will now head to Mars at a constant speed, Babata said. Luo Feng turned his head and looked to the other side. What a dream. Luo Feng couldn't help but exclaim. Oh Babata, over there. Luo Feng pointed to the left. In the distance, there was a huge piece of ice revolving around the gas, and the Black Dragon ship easily overtook it. That's what you call a comet on Earth, Babata said. Luo Feng looked around. In the mysterious but boundless starry sky, there would occasionally be a planet in the distance or even some asteroids, some starry sky dust, and so on. Too beautiful. Luo Feng praised. It's beautiful, but I've seen too much of it. You'll feel bored and cold. Babata said. 10% simulation, said Luo Feng. The surrounding starry sky instantly became very faint, as if there was a layer of illusion. However, he could still see the Earth and the sun behind him, just that they had become very faint. The floor of the control room, the chairs, the control panel, and the lights all reappeared. This 100% simulation is like my entire body is in space. If I don't use my spiritual force to check, if I don't touch, if I don't sit on a chair and just float, then I won't even be able to feel the existence of the control room. Luo Feng couldn't help but to praise. 100% simulation was indeed amazing. Of course the effects are very good. 100% simulation, this is something only B-grade ships and above have. Babata said, if it's a basic A-grade ship, 50% simulation is already not bad. Unless you install an exceptional external simulation system, that's a very expensive and extravagant expense. Luo Feng couldn't help but ask, what's with the ship grades? Even though he had inherited memories, the Golden Horned Beast's inherited memories didn't even mention the human ship grades. A grade corresponds to the Star Traveler level. B grade corresponds to the Star level. C grade corresponds to the Universe level. E grade corresponds to the Sector Lord. F grade corresponds to the Undying level. Many items are divided into grades. Like the laser cannon from before, it's AB 6 grade laser cannon. Like the mothership we found in archaeological ruin number 12, it's AB grade mothership. Like this Black Dragon Mountain X81, it's AC 5 grade ship. As it's AC 5 grade mothership, even a universe level warrior would have to spend a lot of effort to destroy it. Also, like energy crystals are the same. They're divided into A, B, C. The higher the grade, the rarer and more expensive they are. Luo Feng nodded as he listened. This was a very simple division. With one look, It was very clear which grade this laser cannon, energy crystal and ship belonged to. Babata, then the list of metals I gave you before, can it be divided like this too? LuoFeng was shocked. Right. The list of metals you gave me for the Golden Horn Beast can be clearly divided into 5 grades. A grade metal, suitable for the Star Traveler level Golden Horn Beast. B grade metal, suitable for the Star level Golden Horn Beast. E grade metal, suitable for the Sector Lord level Golden Horn Beast. Babata confirmed. LuoFeng nodded. The Golden Horn Beast's growth mainly depended on the internal world's growth, and for the internal world to grow, it needed to swallow metals. Swallowing metals was divided into 3 main types. The first, swallowing alloys, ship remains etc. or low-level pure metals, the lowest efficiency. This was also the slowest way for the Golden Horn Beast to evolve. From the Star Level 1 to the Universe Level 1, it required 100 years. The second, swallowing pure metals of the same grade. For example, the current Luo Feng, as a Star Level 3 Golden Horn Beast, could swallow close to 100% pure B-grade metals. If Luo Feng were to reach the Universe level, he would need to swallow C-grade metals. This way LuoFeng's evolution speed could be doubled. From the Star Level 1 to the Universe Level 1, 50 years was enough. The price was a large amount of pure metals of the same grade. The third, metal combinations, was like a person eating different types of food, replenishing different types of nutrients to be the healthiest, the same logic. The internal world's growth, if it swallowed multiple metal combinations at the same time, it might have miraculous effects. The evolution speed could be raised by 1 or 2 times, up to tens of times. For example, the Star-level Golden Horn Beast, the best metal combination to swallow, was 325 B-grade, 100% pure metals. Also, these 325 pure metals had precise ratios. This way it could swallow them all at once. The evolution speed would increase to 89 times. Right now on Earth, it's mostly normal metals, only your so-called gold is an A3 grade metal. The blue gold metal you Earthlings found on the moon belongs to the A6 grade metal. Babata said, there's not a single B grade metal. This was also the reason why the Golden Horn Beast swallowed the battle base. Back then, when the Golden Horn Beast reached the Star Level 1, it couldn't find any B grade metals on Earth, so it could only casually eat some. The alloy remains of spaceships had the lowest efficiency. It was no different from eating normal metals, the only difference was that the size was smaller. The Golden Horn Beast's evolution relies on metal combinations. Its evolution speed is the fastest. However, even normal metals can still be used for training. However, deities of the world. Luo Feng was extremely helpless, his Golden Horn Beast's 2 secret techniques. Deities of the world and absolute space, of which absolute space relied on large amounts of practice and comprehension. However, deities of the world had extremely strict requirements. Deities of the world allowed the Golden Horn Beast's body to grow or shrink. Hence, to train one had to directly eat some metal combinations, eat it, and rely on the complex metal ratios to be absorbed by the body, changing some of the Golden Horn Beast genes, allowing the Golden Horn Beast's body to shrink or grow. Could be said that deities of the world training was secondary. The main point was to eat the metal combinations, and it had to be eaten directly into the stomach. It didn't have to be swallowed into the internal world. And the formulas for deities of the world were even harder and more complex than the highest formula for Luo Feng to evolve and swallow metals. Luo Feng, we're about to reach Mars, the ship is beginning to slow down. Babata's voice resounded. Luo Feng looked over. The exterior simulation of 10% allowed Luo Feng to see the red planet in the distance. The red color was almost orange, it obviously didn't look as good as Earth. Oh. The ship quickly entered Mars' atmosphere. Mars' atmosphere was obviously much thinner than Earth's. Babata, prepare to open the cabin door. Luo Feng immediately ran towards the middle cabin door of the ship. As he ran, the cloud contact armor on his body swiftly extended, quickly covering his entire body. His head too was covered in a helmet, only revealing his eyes. The black disc-shaped ship slowly descended. Halfway through, the cabin door opened. So, a human silhouette flew out, his entire body covered in blood-red armor, his cold eyes gazing downwards. HM? Mars' gravity is so small. Luo Feng could clearly feel the difference in gravity between Mars and Earth, immediately adjusting the mini-planet within his body to adapt to Mars' gravity. This is. Gazing downwards, Luo Feng could see in the vast sandy ground, in the distance towering huge structures that seemed to be decaying, pyramids. 1, 2, 3. Luo Feng was shocked as he looked at the pyramids. Even though the surface was decaying, the entire structure was still intact. There were a total of 9 pyramids. There didn't seem to be any order to their placement, but these 9 pyramids seemed to be one. Formlessly, they seemed to have formed an incomparably huge pyramid. Pyramids below the pyramids is. Luo Feng was shocked. City? Below the 9 pyramids was a city that only had a rough outline. One could vaguely see the roads and buildings of the city. Obviously, this place has been ruined for who knows how many years. Whoosh. Luo Feng immediately flew over and swiftly descended, landing on the sand-filled ground of Mars. It's been a long time since anyone has been here. Luo Feng looked at the broken walls in front of him, shocked and confused. Babata, what's going on here? Why are you so shocked? Babata said, it's very normal. Normal. Of course it's normal. Before Master ruled this starfield, it belonged to the Silverblue Empire. Babata said, and Earth is one of the 2 planets with life within 1,000 light years. There's another one? Luo Feng was curious. The other planet with life is around 100 light years away from you. Even at light speed it would take around 100 years, Babata said, unless one reaches light speed and directly travels through the universe. Only then can one arrive quickly. Luo Feng slightly nodded. Earth as a planet with life. And it's also a low-level civilization planet of the Silverblue Empire, so of course there are many humans living there. Babata said, its original purpose was a livestock planet mainly to raise some powerful monsters then tame them and sell them for money. The number of people living there is estimated to be in the millions, mainly to serve the livestock industry. Luo Feng knew. Planets with life are mainly split into planets with high human population density, tourist planets, livestock planets, forestry planets, agricultural planets, industrial planets etc. For example, some powers in the universe can directly build a large factory on a planet etc. Earth's livestock has many precious monsters, which is an important asset of the Silverblue Empire. Hence, they specially arranged for an interstellar fleet to be stationed here. Babata said, of course they also rely on the interstellar transport ships to transport large amounts of mining equipment and miners to the mineral planets around the planet with life to mine. Babata said, back then there were many miners mining on Mars. And they built a mining base here. After that, the interstellar fleet was destroyed by Master with a single move. Without the interstellar transport ship, those miners won't have any supplies on the Fireball. Even if they create life meals they won't be able to last long. So it's all over, Babata said. Luo Feng was stunned. So that's how it is. This is a mining base? These pyramids are energy towers. Babata said, this energy tower is imitating the mechanical race's basic method of creating energy, it's very cost-effective. In terms of using the pyramid, the human race can't catch up to the machinery race. The mechanical race is very strong in terms of technology. Babata could not help but say, even the human race cannot compare to them. For example, humans can only rely on evolution to step into immortal, but the mech race is actually a type of artificial intelligence life. Although they do not have a soul, they still have the combat power of an immortal. Luo Feng was shocked within. Although artificial intelligence life forms had human emotions, they were still artificial intelligence and not souls. Babata was just like that. The soulless automaton race could give birth to undying experts. In terms of technology it was indeed very strong. Hoo-hoo. The strong wind whistled past, swirling up a large amount of sand. Luo Feng stood on the ground. Babata, detect the mineral deposits. Luo Feng said. Activate the mineral deposit detection. The Black Dragon ship floating in mid-air immediately activated the mineral deposit detection ability. In just a moment. Luo Feng, Mars has an extremely rich black iron deposit. Babata said. Black iron? Right after translating it into Chinese, it can be called black iron. Babata said, black iron is an A8 grade metal. It's extremely sturdy, it's very popular in the universe. No B grade metal? Luo Feng creased his eyebrows. Right now he was a star-level golden horn beast, his efficiency in swallowing B grade metals was very high. No. Babata said excitedly, however the amount of black iron is extremely large. So there must be quite a bit of black iron essence inside. Luo Feng's heart moved. Black iron was A8 grade, then black iron essence would be B8, and the extremely rare black iron essence would be C8 grade. For example, the UNMO planet ship, its entire body was made out of hybrid copper essence. This hybrid copper itself was a D9 grade metal, and the hybrid copper essence was an E9 grade. Hybrid copper essence was an F9 grade. A large black iron deposit, if there was even 1/10,000th of the black iron essence, that was already not bad. Black iron essence, if there was even 1/10,000th of the black iron essence, that was already not bad. One could see how exaggerated the ratio was. Hybrid copper itself was already very valuable. The UNMO planet ship, whose entire body was made out of the hybrid copper essence, its price was unimaginable. Just one piece of the hybrid copper essence would make a domain lord go crazy with greed. It was a pity that the UNMO planet ship needed repairs, and couldn't be found even in the vast Black Dragon Mountain Empire. Luo Feng, these 9 energy towers have the ability to isolate detection. They cover a certain area, making it impossible to detect. However, below the energy towers there's a steel city. I can barely detect a small part of the steel city. Babata said. Steel city? Luo Feng was shocked, an underground steel city? However, I can detect no life within a few hundred meters. Let's go, follow the cave on the left 12 kilometers away, and we'll find the underground steel city. On the surface of Mars, there was a naturally collapsed huge cave, with a diameter of a few hundred meters. So, Luo Feng immediately rushed into the cave, heading deeper into the ground. Luo Feng released his spirit energy, as a Star Traveler level 6 spirit reader, releasing his spirit energy could cover an area of over 6,000 m. Luo Feng landed on the ground, before him was dirt and dust, only the huge cave was covered by the dirt, and he could vaguely see a black metal. And using his spirit energy Luo Feng had long discovered, behind him was a huge city gate. Number 1 open. Luo Feng's thoughts moved, his body immediately floated up and dodged far away. A black metal robot appeared out of thin air. In terms of strength, Luo Feng couldn't compare to this black metal robot. Rumble, the metal robot's powerful palm fiercely pushed against the huge metal door. As it exerted force, the metal door slowly opened with a rumble. A large amount of soil also fell with a shwa-shwa sound, and a cloud of sand and dust filled the air. Shio, shio, shio. Blinding beams of white light fiercely shot out, almost enveloping the entire area of the metal door. 7 or 8 blinding lasers shot into the metal robot's body, causing the metal robot to crash into the cave wall beside, causing a large amount of dust to collapse. Luo Feng had already dodged far above. Damn, this steel city is still operating? Luo Feng was shocked. My spirit energy scanned, there's no one inside, it's long been covered in dust. The 9 energy towers are operating normally, allowing the steel city to continue operating. The people are all dead, but the steel city's functions haven't disappeared. Babata said, Luo Feng, go in. This emergency steel city's defenses aren't that strong. And right now, the Cloud Contact Vine is a Star Traveler level 9, about to step into the star level. During Luo Feng's battle with the Golden Horn Beast back then, the Cloud Contact Vine was already a Star Traveler level 7. Luo Feng's body had been nurtured for over a year, the Cloud Contact Vine had been under the sea, Babata had often fed it Muya crystals. Within a year, it had grown to a Star Traveler level 9, just that it was stuck at the door, not yet stepping into the star level. This speed to this specially nurtured Cloud Contact Vine wasn't fast. Steel City. Luo Feng and the metal robot, one in front and one behind, flew into the underground Steel City, forcefully withstanding the next laser beam rushing in. The pitch-black city. Luo Feng used his spirit energy to scan, only then did he realize that the density of the buildings in the city was extremely high. Luo Feng, the entire city is built from black iron. Babata said, quickly do as I say, first cut off the energy supply, prevent this underground Steel City some important areas from being attacked. Okay. Luo Feng was clear on the importance of cutting off the energy supply. Left. Turn right, yes. Babata led the way, very quickly bringing Luo Feng to a place where the thick metal pipes were concentrated. Use the hybrid copper essence shard, cut it for me, cut it all off. Babata said. Luo Feng, dressed in a blood-red cloud contact armor, looked at the pipes 100 meters ahead, his thoughts moved. Shio. A blood-red blur immediately passed through the pipes in the distance. With Luo Feng Star Traveler level 6 Spirit Reader, Star level 3 Soul's Consciousness Strength, a total of 32 threads of spirit energy that were as tough as steel wires were attached to the hybrid copper essence shard. Chuck, chuck. An ear-piercing sound resounded. Large amounts of sparks were emitted, rumble, causing the metal beside to explode. There are still 8 energy towers. Babata said. Babata, lead the way. Luo Feng swiftly flew. This was only a mining base. Back when the interstellar fleet was destroyed, there was no more supplies. Due to the environment, the miners were forced to move underground, relying on large amounts of machinery to quickly build a simple and crude steel city. The city's main material was the black iron. After so many years with the support of the energy towers, the city was still in perfect condition. He couldn't help but praise. In just a few minutes, the steel city's energy supply had all been cut off by Luo Feng. Haha, it's all settled. Luo Feng, if my guess isn't wrong, the miners must have carefully stored the black iron essences they dug up. Let's begin a large search. If we see anything good, we'll take it all away. Babata said. Luo Feng immediately flew within this underground steel city, beginning a large search. Mars Underground Steel City. This underground steel city, it's built really big. Dressed in a blood-red armor, Luo Feng's spirit energy swept in all directions, searching this ancient underground city. Luo Feng, go to the warehouse. Babata said. Back then the miners dug out large amounts of black iron, it should be stored in an important warehouse. Luo Feng's spirit energy spread out to a 6,000 m area. This underground city streets, buildings etc. all had words written on them. The words were in the universe language. Using the words in a short while, Luo Feng easily found the important location of the entire steel city, the warehouse where the black iron materials were stored. Luo Feng landed in front of the huge warehouse base. He couldn't help but be stunned, cursing softly. Big trouble. The warehouse base before him was filled with large amounts of black iron, almost like a small mountain. Not only did the huge warehouse slow down, even the courtyards outside were slowed down. They were even piled up outside the warehouse. Haha, back then when the miners were trapped on Mars, even if they had large amounts of black iron, they wouldn't be able to transport it. Black iron is actually the most worthless. The entire steel city is made of black iron. Of course this warehouse can be stacked casually. Babata said. Luo Feng, seriously look around, see if you can find any black iron spirits. Luo Feng looked at the small mountain of black iron, helpless. Forcefully barge in? Oh. A 8 grade black iron, just based on its hardness, even a Star Traveler level 8 fighter would find it hard to break it. Luo Feng's soaring shuttle, it was hard to pierce through. Luo Feng could easily drill through the soil, but for his body to drill through a small mountain of black iron? It was as difficult as a normal person drilling through the ground, as difficult as ascending to the heavens. Collect, collect, collect. Luo Feng's thoughts moved. Oh. A large amount of black iron disappeared and another pile disappeared. Using his space ring, Luo Feng swiftly kept the large amount of black iron. Babata, my space ring isn't big enough, help me keep it. Luo Feng said. His own space ring was over 600 m long, 500 m wide and 100 m tall. In terms of space, it was over 30 million cubic meters. If he wanted to fill the space ring, it would definitely fit. However, Babata's space ring, it would be a waste not to use it. Sly Luo Feng. Alright, I'll settle it. Babata said. Shwa. With the naked eye, Babata could clearly see the mountains of dark iron in front of him rapidly disappear, and in just a short while the entire area outside the warehouse, including the huge courtyard, that was piled up like a small mountain, was all stored into Babata's storage space. And a total of 118 million tons, too little, barely enough to build a small interstellar warship, Babata said. Luo Feng laughed and strode towards the storehouse in front. The dark steel obstructions outside had all disappeared, revealing the exterior of the warehouse. The warehouse was a rectangular building that occupied a large area, and the door was tightly shut. Break. Luo Feng looked at the gigantic and thick black iron door. The hybrid copper essence shard turned into a flowing light and fiercely slashed into the door, forcefully cutting in. It's really thick. Luo Feng could clearly feel a large amount of spirit energy being expended. It was not difficult for the hybrid copper essence shard to cut the dark steel, but it was so thick that it consumed a lot of psyche power. It took him half a minute to cut a hole big enough for one person to enter. In the warehouse, the old way was to have Babata store a large amount of dark steel in his storage space. Dark red. Luo Feng glanced at the distant small pile of dark red metal, swiftly finding information on the dark steel from his large inherited memories, determining the identity of the metal before him. Dark steel essence. I finally found it. Luo Feng was excited. The golden horned beast's internal world currently needed to swallow B-grade metals. Only then could its growth speed increase. Babata, check how much is there in this pile of dark steel essence? Luo Feng walked to the front of the dark steel essence. Shwa. A liquid silver guard appeared in mid-air. The liquid silver guard stared at the dark steel essence, its eyes gleaming. Obviously it was collecting information on the pile. Its volume is about 35 cubic meters, a total of about 1,200 tons. Babata said. Oh. Luo Feng was about to praise. 1,200 tons? Right now the swallowing monster can swallow close to 100 tons of B8 grade metals a day. That means it's enough to eat for about 10 days? One had to know. The star level 3 golden horn beast, if it swallowed all the metals on Earth, it could swallow up to 100 million tons of metals in a day. Just like a base, a huge steel base that exceeded 500 m in length and width, one base would have over 10 million tons of metals. Back then when it was a star level 1, it had to swallow quite a few bases before it was full. Now that it was a star level 3, its appetite had increased, it had to swallow even more. At 8 grade metals, it had to swallow tens of thousands of tons a day. B8 grade, close to 100 tons was about right. Too little, too little. Luo Feng shook his head. After collecting all the dark steel in the warehouse, he didn't find any more dark steel essence. Babata, why is there so little of the dark steel essence here? Luo Feng couldn't help but ask. It's not little, it's just that the golden horn beast can swallow too much. Is 1,200 tons little? Babata said, the pinnacle bloodlines of the space beasts, all of them are very sick. The flame star beast swallows stars. Even though your golden horn beast doesn't swallow stars, its requirements are very strict. When you become a sector lord, you'll be swallowing E-grade metals, swallowing so much every day. Even your teacher, the master of the Unimo planet, would be eating until he went broke. Luo Feng laughed bitterly. Right, the more he ate, the higher the quality of the metals unless Luo Feng was willing to grow at the slowest speed that would save money. However, to grow quickly, just buying the pure metals would require a huge sum of money. Continue searching, see if there's any more dark steel essence in this steel city. Large-scale search. The entire city was made of dark steel, however the houses and residences etc., many of them weren't. It was just that too much time had passed, most of them had decayed. Large-scale search, Luo Feng would occasionally find a few small pieces of dark steel essence, within a few decaying residences, obviously treasured by the miners. Every time he collected a small amount, however the more he searched, the more he found, the more than 1,000 tons. 32 minutes later. Rumble. Luo Feng kicked a dirty and decaying mansion's underground door. The dust on the door fell, revealing the door's original color, dark red. Dark steel essence door? Even the door is made of dark steel essence. What's in this underground room? Luo Feng revealed a look of glee. Keep. Immediately keeping a few tons of dark steel essence door into his space ring, after which Luo Feng stepped into the underground room that no one had entered for hundreds of thousands of years. The underground room occupied a huge amount of space. My god. Luo Feng stared. The huge underground room was very organized with large amounts of decaying weapons. The thing that took up the most space was the large amounts of dark red metal. The size was huge, far more than what Luo Feng had collected in the warehouse. And in the center of the dark red metal, there was even a blood red metal. Dark steel essence, so many dark steel essences. The one in the center, is the dark steel essence? Luo Feng was stunned. There's actually more than the warehouse? Babata, hurry and calculate how much is there. Luo Feng said. As he was affected by the pyramid, Babata could only release the liquid silver guards, using their eyes to look, gather information and make a judgment. There's about 12,300 tons of dark steel essence. The C8 grade dark steel essence, about 360 kilograms. Babata said. Much more than the warehouse. Luo Feng was extremely shocked. The warehouse only had a little over 1,000 tons of dark steel essence. There wasn't even a bit of the dark steel essence. Luo Feng, I suggest we go to the underground steel city's main control center, connect to the surveillance AI system, and check on the underground steel city's history. Babata said, I suspect. This steel city, the miners have been trapped here for a long time, the internal system has changed, the dark steel essence and other things have been stored in a different place. All right. Luo Feng agreed with Babata. 5 minutes later. The black metal robot made a move, directly connecting to the underground steel city surveillance AI system. With the support of the energy tower, the surveillance AI system had been working perfectly until Luo Feng cut off the energy supply. Very quickly the infiltration was successful. I found the information. Back then the master destroyed the interstellar fleet with one move. There were a total of 3.2 million miners unable to leave Mars. They used the virtual universe network to request for help, even offering a reward for help. However, after retreating underground, due to not being able to receive help for a long time, there's been a change within the miners. Amongst the miners, the ratio of men to women is close to 20:1. Just like your Earth's feudal lords fighting for supremacy, these 3 million people have begun to fight amongst themselves. After all, resources are limited, women are limited, beautiful women are even more limited. A few precious dark steel essences, the even more precious dark steel essence, were all hidden by the large powers in their own bases. However, the resources on Mars are limited, gathering resources to create food is getting harder and harder. The Steel City, because they didn't have the information to build a universe ship, they've been thinking of ways to research on spaceships. After thousands of years, they finally painstakingly built 3 super small spaceships, sending a few elites out of the planet to fight for a sliver of hope for survival. The remaining thousands of other people went into sleep and died. This Steel City lasted for over 3,000 years before it was destroyed. Babata said. Luo Feng sighed. Over 3 million lives, constantly struggling. However, Mars was lacking in resources. Without supplies, there was no hope at all. Luo Feng, let's go. I have the maps of the large powers, their bases. Let's go search each one. Babata said. All right. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. They searched a total of 12 places, of which 8 were empty. Obviously they were the bases of the powers that failed to conquer. The other 4 places, the rewards were much bigger than the warehouses. From then on, the entire underground steel city, Luo Feng had looted almost all of the dark steel essences and dark steel essence, of which the dark steel essences reached about 33,600 tons, the dark steel essence was about 2.34 tons. Over 30,000 tons of dark steel essences, it's about enough to devour for a year. Luo Feng stood at the entrance of the steel city looking at the pitch black city. He was troubled, wanting the golden horn beast to grow faster. The price was really huge. When it reaches the universe level golden horn beast, its devouring power will be even more ridiculous. These dark steel essences, when that time comes, it probably won't even be enough to devour for a day. After sweeping the underground steel city clean, Luo Feng flew out of the city gates. Luo Feng, wait a moment. Babata shouted. What's the matter, Babata? Luo Feng was suspicious. Don't tell me this steel city still has treasures? Stupid. The most valuable thing in this steel city isn't the black iron essence or the black iron essence. It's almost entirely made out of black iron. Babata couldn't help but say. Luo Feng was shocked. Luo Feng, don't you know you're very poor now? Babata laughed evilly. Very poor? Do you have money? I'm talking about currency that can be used in the universe, not Earth's money. Do you? Babata asked. Luo Feng creased his eyebrows. On Earth, money had no meaning to him. However, in the vast universe he was indeed very poor. Firstly, he had 0 cash and 0 universe bank account. Your teacher did prepare 3 bank accounts for you, but they're only for you to reach the star level, universe level and domain lord level. Babata said, before your teacher fell he used the virtual universe network to set up these 3 accounts for you. And it requires that your personal strength meets the requirements so you can collect it personally. Your golden horned beast body has reached the star level. However, don't tell me you're going to use your golden horned beast body to go to the bank? Babata asked. Only after reaching the star level could one acquire the wealth of the first bank account. However, his golden horned beast body didn't dare show itself, and his human body's strength wasn't enough. Hence, Luo Feng, your current cash is 0, your bank account is as good as empty. You do have many treasures. The UNMO planet ship is a priceless treasure. The Black Dragon ship is also very expensive. However, if you take it out, without a doubt, even sector lords and undying beings would come to steal it. That would be suicide. And the Black Dragon ship, you need to use it yourself. The Cloud Contact Vine has already recognized its owner. The Soaring Shuttle Arc Cutter Blade, you need to use it yourself. The only things that can really be sold for money are the liquid silver guards, along with my Muya crystals and energy crystals. Babata said, and the Muya crystals, the Cloud Contact Vine needs to grow. What about the energy crystals? The Black Dragon ship also requires energy. If I use it for a long period of time, I might not even have enough energy crystals. I'll still need to buy more. Luo Feng was stunned. He was the descendant of UNMO planet, but now he did not have a single cent of cash. Property? The Black Dragon ship, spirit weapons, Muya crystals and energy crystals were all necessities. That's why Luo Feng, before your human body reaches the star level, you're still very poor. Babata said helplessly. Isn't there a ship fragment? Luo Feng couldn't help but ask. That's a wreckage. It's classified as trash. It's too troublesome to even refurbish it. Babata said. How much can it be sold for? 1 Muya crystal can be exchanged for countless fragments. Luo Feng frowned. Luo Feng was very clear that he would inevitably have to enter the universe in the future. For example, he could only buy some of the metal combinations he needed to practice his deity of the world. If he relied on himself to find them in the universe, how long would that take? In the vast universe, even Undying Realm experts valued money. Of course, it was the universal currency. It was not the currency issued by a single planet like Earth. How could he not have money? Without money, he couldn't even open an account in the virtual universe network. LuoFeng, I'll tell you everything. Babata said. The energy crystals in my storage space, if you use the Black Dragon ship frequently, would probably be used up in a few decades. The Muya crystals I have here are enough for you to reach the star level 1. Let the cloud contact vine grow to the star level 5 or 6. Babata said. As for the others, that's all. As for the energy crystals and Muya crystals, it's up to you to decide. LuoFeng began to think carefully. His own wealth was split into 3 levels. The highest level, the Yunmo planet ship, the Undying Expert's corpse, they were all shocking treasures. It was a pity that the moment he took out such treasures, it was equivalent to suicide. The second level, the 3 bank accounts his teacher gave him, he needed to be strong enough to withdraw money. The third level, the Black Dragon ship he was using, the soaring shuttle, the arc cutter blade, the liquid silver guards, and the Muya crystals and energy crystals he left with Babata. I can't bear to part with them. LuoFeng shook his head. That's why your biggest sum of money right now is this black iron. Babata shouted excitedly. These are all black iron raw materials. And not the alloy wreckage. The alloy wreckage of the ship is the most worthless. As for the raw materials, they can be used to make tools, weapons, etc. They are still worth a lot of money. LuoFeng nodded. Just like how iron ores and other raw materials were worth a lot of money, in the universe while there were many places to excavate for metal raw materials, there were still costs involved. Black iron is an A8 grade metal, it's very cheap. However, there's a lot of it. Babata shouted. Back then we used interstellar transport ships to transport millions of miners to excavate it. Looks like this is my first profit. LuoFeng looked at the steel city, his gaze heated. You're in charge of dismantling it, I'll be in charge of storing it in my storage space. Babata shouted. All right. Rumble. The steel city occasionally emitted rumbling sounds. With LuoFeng's dismantling and Babata's storage space, the efficiency was extremely high. The steel city was about 10 kilometers in length and width. Large chunks of black iron raw materials were all stored by Babata. Some of the black iron that had been poured into pillars were also stored. 8 hours later, the entire steel city was gone, leaving behind only a few decayed remains. LuoFeng, we've discarded some of the decayed ones. The total amount of black iron raw materials we've collected is a total of 9.28 billion tons. Babata said excitedly. Haha, just with these raw materials, LuoFeng, you finally got your first capital. LuoFeng flew out of the ground. From high up in the sky, he looked down at the surface of Mars. It's a pity there's still a lot of black iron veins underground, but the difficulty of excavating them is very high. Babata said helplessly, even if you're strong, one person can't excavate the entire vein. Unless it's those pure metal veins. Don't be too greedy. LuoFeng was very clear. What he had here was the result of over 3 million miners working together with their equipment. Earth, China, Jiangnan headquarters city, Yangzhou city. Evening, the red sun hung in the west. A huge black disc-shaped ship was thousands of meters above Yangzhou city. However, not a single country on Earth had discovered this ship. The ship's cabin door opened. A youth dressed in a casual shirt flew out. The ship suddenly disappeared. The youth flew downwards. I'm back. How mysterious, going to Mars in the morning and returning to Earth in the evening. LuoFeng couldn't help but compliment, and I've even struck it rich. Over 3 million miners were working hard. This 9.28 billion tons of black iron was much more valuable than 2 tons of black iron essence. After all, there was a lot of it. Dad. In the courtyard, 2 children were jogging and playing. One of them shouted excitedly. The other child raised his head too. Indeed, their father LuoFeng flew down from the sky. Ping ping little hi, come give me a kiss. LuoFeng squatted down and hugged his 2 sons, smiling. Do. A car horn sounded. LuoFeng turned to look, only to see Su Xen driving her car towards the garage, purposely honking, causing the 2 children to shout, Mom. Dinner is almost ready, little Feng. You and Su Xen just happened to return at this time, what a coincidence. Gong Xanlon laughed. LuoFeng's days were very comfortable. The Golden Horned Beast's internal world was immersed in its absolute space training. The internal world was absorbing close to 100 tons of black iron essence every day. Multitasking to LuoFeng was very simple. Like an undying being, his soul's calculation speed wasn't any lower than a living AI. Every second counted in trillions. LuoFeng's soul was already a star level 3 soul. If he split his attention to control objects, controlling hundreds to thousands of objects in different trajectories was a simple task. Even if he used all his strength to control each one, the consciousness of a star level 3, he could control 32 threads of spirit energy. Meaning to say, LuoFeng could multitask 32 times at once. Every one of them was at its highest efficiency. Yes, 32. Back when LuoFeng was a star traveler level 3, his consciousness level could control 19 threads of spirit energy. And now, with his star level 3 soul consciousness, he could control 32 threads of spirit energy. LuoFeng frequently sat in a ship to leave Earth, heading to other planets in the solar system. No one noticed, after all LuoFeng returned too quickly. Even the furthest planet in the solar system with the Black Dragon ship, 2 days was enough. Earth was silent. Hongning Headquarters City. Year 2062 Spring. In the headquarters of the Dojo of Limits, within the huge ship, in one of the spacious rooms, there were 2 beds, beside them were large amounts of equipment. Everything was to maintain the lives of the 2 warriors. On the left lay the white-robed Thunder God, on the right lay the black-clothed Hong. Head. Outside the room there were 2 people standing outside the glass, looking inside, their eyes filled with sadness. Ice Mountain, when will the head wake up? Allure couldn't help but ask softly. I don't know. However, I will wait, I will continue to wait. The ice-cold man beside said. Allure nodded. However, An ear-piercing alarm suddenly resounded outside. Rumble. A group of doctors immediately rushed in. Allure and Ice Mountain's 2 guards stared wide-eyed inside. The door immediately opened, the 2 old doctors entered, the others were locked outside. Brainwaves have been discovered. A white-haired old doctor shouted excitedly. The 2 heads have brainwaves and they're getting stronger. Another doctor shouted excitedly. The equipment displayed the brainwaves. The 2 heads' brainwaves rose and fell, almost as though they were competing with each other, one stronger than the other. Stronger and stronger. Suddenly the black-clothed Hong's eyelids trembled, after which he slowly opened his eyes.